Welcome back. Yes, today's the first day of many days. I've shown you these wheels in the past, but let's see, not last Friday, but the Friday before, I went and got them wrapped in some 265/70 R16, so basically a 31-10-5 BF Goodrich all-terrain, and I've got a lift kit ordered in the mail for the Liberty. But today, first things first, we're going to start taking a look at the pinch weld on the inner fender, because that's going to get in the way when we turn these bad boys. And we're going to make sure that the ball joints are in good enough shape right now to take on the additional weight. Obviously, alloy wheels help me quite a bit, but regardless, hitting bumps and everything, we're going to be putting more stress on those ball joints. So we're going to take a look and make sure we know what we've got ourselves into at the moment before we go lifting this bad boy. Alright, so real quick, well, we've got the stock tire up in the air enough. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our hands as wide as possible, and we're going to shimmy this thing, see if there's any play or vibration that's going to tell us if we've got any slop in our steering or our ball joints. Same thing, go from top to bottom, do the same thing, and so we'll see. Got a little bit of play in the side to side. But we seem to be pretty good in our top to bottom, so we'll take a quick look. Once we get the tire off, let's see if we can see any wear in the ball joints. So inside, here we are. This is our upper ball joint, and dust seal seems to be in pretty good shape. Seems pretty solid. Tie rod end, same situation. Dust seal seems to be in good shape, and it seems to be in pretty decent shape. Lower ball joint. Similarly, the dust boot's in really good shape, so I think we'll be okay on the passenger side here. So, anyway, behind here is the pinch weld, right? So, where this becomes a problem is when we turn it full lock. The tread width starts to rub this way, so I guess that would be if I'm making a left-hand turn here on the passenger side. When I'm making a right-hand turn, we're way out here, so it's really more kind of this is what we got to watch out for. Alright, so here's what we've done. We've used our Dremel here to cut around this plastic. I thought we had to take the inner fender off, but then the more I looked at it, these two clips were easy to take out, but the rest of them are the typical fender clips, kind of like the door panel clips, that basically once I remove them they'll be obliterated. So since I don't really want to run to the parts store today and grab a bunch of new ones because I wasn't planning on that, I've just elected that we're going to cut this off, and my blade's not quite deep enough to get down here, so we'll figure something out. But I think I misspoke earlier when I said eliminate the pinch weld, but that's what your pinch weld looks like. Obviously we're not going to eliminate that. What we're going to do is hammer it, fold it, try to fold it over to get ourselves as much clearance to the rest of the fender. So yeah, eliminating it, that would be a bad move, obviously, because it's a structural thing. So like I said, we're just looking to fold it over, which appears to probably be a that's going to be a tall task. Okay, so partly why I used the Dremel was to try to eliminate how big the cuts are. Obviously, I think this is ABS plastic, once you start cutting it, it starts to melt. So you can use a bigger one, but just because I didn't want the blade to get away from me and get into this piece of metal. I think that's another good reason to use it. But we want to hold on to this because we're going to make this sort of a patch panel for once we get this folded over. We're going to want to, as best as we can, reattach plastic and cover that up, because otherwise we're going to be fighting rust issues with whether we're getting dirt and mud up in here or salt. Okay, so I'm a bit surprised. That wasn't near as hard as I thought it'd be, because all I have is a 2-pound sledge. But I really don't know how much bigger sledge you could use anyway. You're limited sort of this clearance between the caliper and whatnot. I suppose you could remove the caliper and rotor if you wanted, but that's too much work for me at the moment. It's just a Sunday. But I'm sure there's some people out there that can do a prettier job than that. But I think this will probably do as it is. You can kind of see how it follows the fender well a little bit better. Yeah, I kind of hate to do it. It's not really in my comfort zone, but from all things I've read, you pretty much have no choice unless you want to rub your tires on this. Jeep just made 2 small fender wells on these things. So I'm going to hit it a few more times, just try to smooth it out a little bit. I'll probably slap some primer on it, and then we'll go ahead and do the patch panel. Okay, so I've taken my Dremel to the outsides of this and cleaned it up with the abrasive wheel. And then I came back with sandpaper and I sanded down just kind of the perimeter. Reason for that being, we've got our residual shape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut relief cuts in this thing, so I can flatten this piece of plastic out. Because obviously once we cut it, we've only lost material, so we'll never quite be as wide as it is. So I'm hopeful that when I cut the relief cuts, I can just kind of hammer this thing out, and then I can slap it back on. So here's sort of not the finished product, but here's what it looks like with the relief cuts. Now where I'm fortunate is that there's enough material to tuck behind the existing inner fender. I was thinking I was going to have to go over the top, that's why I sanded all that stuff, but I bought some epoxy for this, but I'm almost thinking that melting it with I don't have a torch, but I almost think I can melt some of the plastic together better than I could with the epoxy, but we'll see. Now, I didn't quite probably pound it back as much as I'd like. I might work on it some more. You can see it's still sticks out about, less than my thumbprint, so that's good. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's better at least. So I'll probably pound on the pinch weld some more, but then we'll see if we can't get this epoxied in. Alright, so here's the finished product. I wound up using epoxy. I tucked this guy in behind the inner fender and had a pretty nice little seam all the way around. Now there's some areas like, well, let's see, it's like right in there that the gap was starting to get a little big. Now whether this works or not, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be enough bonding strength. I don't know if there's enough contact area or not, but we're going to give it a shot. The good news is I've only done this side, so I guess I'll drive around like this for a couple weeks and see if it holds up, and then I'll know what to do on the other side. Lift kit is still in the mail anyway, so it's not a big deal that I don't have the other one done right away. But anyway, that's a how-to. Reduce your pinch weld in the inner fender. You can see that's probably a good look on. I didn't quite eliminate it all the way. I suppose if you're more gutsy than I am, you just leave it exposed, have a little more clearance. But we're gonna give this a shot. Worst case scenario, if I still rub on it with my new tires, the new tires will probably take that right off. So hey, till next time, peace out.